Adrenaline, momentum, not knowing when I'm never gonna slow up and I'm ready to snap any momentum. Taking it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Horrified. Now today, we're going to be doing one of my favorites, Halloween. Stay tuned. Halloween, an entry by John Carpenter, and introducing Jamie Lee Curtis, the daughter of Janet Leigh from Psycho, which I had mentioned previously before. Now, this entry starts off in 1963, Halloween. He notices his sister and her boyfriend on the couch, and one of the best and long shots following through the house all the way up to upstairs to his sister's bedroom and through the murder, and then out the house, out the door, and then you see, takes off the mask, is the young Michael Myers, age 6, in his clown costume for Halloween. And then it just freeze frames, zooms out, and then it goes to 15 years later. Now let's go through that first scene. Now you see that Michael's looking through the window at his sister, making out with the boyfriend. She's like, Michael's around here somewhere. And then they start to proceed upstairs, and about 5 to 10 seconds later, you see him walking down after a short, pleasurable event. Very short, mind you. You see him exiting the house. Yeah, I'll call you. Sure. That wouldn't happen because she eventually dies in the next 15 to 20 seconds. But this famous scene is actually one long shot. Actually, it's shot through the house. John Carpenter later admits that there's actually one cut in that scene. It's when the mask, when he puts the mask on, that's when they actually do the cut. The only cut that you will see during that whole entire scene. They actually reproduced that scene, the long one shot in the new Halloween 2018, which we probably will cover. A lot of the POV, he's actually really tall, which actually Deborah Hill actually had to partake in this murder, walk through in this particular scene. She actually walks through, and her hand is actually the one stabbing the sister in the bedroom, which is a lot of people don't know that. But Deborah Hill is one of the writers of the movie. Also comes from Jersey, which Haddonfield is in Jersey, where she got motivated. Haddonfield, Illinois. But Haddonfield is a good little Easter egg for New Jersey residents, especially if Haddonfield. I actually lived in Haddonfield, New Jersey for a little bit of time when I did live in Jersey, now currently in Florida. But Haddonfield is a beautiful town, but that was the namesake that they got for the movie in Halloween. We also meet Dr. Sam Loomis. I don't know if you're familiar with that name, but that name also comes into Psycho, the original, which would be the boyfriend of Marion's character, who she has the nooner with. But Sam Loomis is a namesake, and who the original motivation for the character would be a drunken Donald Pleasance, which Donald Pleasance plays Sam Loomis in Halloween. So that's one of another Easter egg that they decided to put into the movie as well, which was actually fun to learn. Now, Donald Pleasance plays Michael Myers, his psychiatrist from when he was a child at 6 years old. Later, speaks about seeing through the eyes of pure evil. He hasn't said a word in 15 years since he was a child, and now we come up to 1978, where he actually will make his escape as Donald Pleasance pleads to the courts, the board, that there's not enough security in the minimum security staff, and they say he's pretty much a vegetable. He's been quiet for so many years, so long, he really has not done anything. But Donald Pleasance thinks there's more underlying reason for that. They say he's been planning for this 15 years. It does escape, but there's a little discrepancy, because actually in the credits they say he's 23 years, which 6 plus 15 would be 21, not 23. But they admit to the mix-up later on. We have the night where he's supposed to go to court, and then he's with the nurse.
What do I give him when we take him in front of the judge?
Sarazine.
barely be able to sit up.
That's the idea.
They start to see patients walking around throughout the grounds, and they really curious of what's going on. And then they later try to open the gate and get out of the car, and Michael actually jumps onto the station wagon. Where he learned how to drive, we have no idea. That's one of the biggest questions that we actually come into. He's been institutionalized for the last 15 years. How did he learn how to drive? We will never know. This is where we meet Laurie Strode, which is played by Jamie Lee Curtis, the new Scream Queen. Tommy, the young boy that she will be babysitting. We meet Annie. It is now nighttime, which actually comes very quickly in the movie. So Annie dropped off the child that she's babysitting, the female, where Laurie is babysitting. Annie proceeds to go to her car to go pick up her boyfriend Paul. Unfortunately, this is where she meets her end in the car, and she gets strangled by Michael in a very savage way. But we had to get a death in there somewhere. So then we see Linda and Bob drive up in their van to the house. It's all dark, pitch dark. They go into the house and assume that no one's home. She gives a call to Laurie to find out where Annie was, but she says, well, she probably went to go pick up Paul. So Linda and Bob were actually making out on the couch, and they decided to go upstairs to continue their activities. And this is where you get the gratuitous shot, which, as we all know, you're going to have to die now because you just had sex, and, you know. But ultimately, Bob gets one of my favorite kills in the whole movie, downstairs trying to get a beer for Linda, and then he just met with Michael with a stab up on the wall, and he's held there by the knife, and Michael just stares at him. Just stares. Turns his head, and then it cuts away. You have Linda in the bed, assuming which would be Bob, coming in. He's wearing the white sheet, has the beer in his hand, walks in ever so slowly. Then this is where you get, and she feels that, she's like, well, give me my beer now. And then he's just messing with her, teasing her. And then she starts, and she was like, okay, well, I'm going to go call Laurie and find out what's going on because she hasn't seen Annie yet. And then she dies, gets strangled by Michael. Now the real fun happens.
Can't kill the boogeyman.
Get in there, come on, Tommy. Now lock the door.
up as she once again feels that she is safe, walking, and then he starts to strangle her. This is when Dr. Loomis is up the stairs, shoots him, backs off. Now he's sitting he's standing in the bedroom, just right there, breathing. Dr. Loomis shoots again, and again, and again, 6 times, which we later find out, which actually in 2, he says, I shot him 6 times, but it didn't do anything. He falls off, and then he disappears, which actually doesn't happen in the first one. It actually disappears in the second one, which he gets apprehended in the new timeline, which actually comes in with Halloween 2018. He actually gets apprehended from on the ground after being shot 6 times, which in the original canon, he actually disappears and he lives long to kill another day. But for this, we are going to go from 1 to 2018. So right now he's apprehended. Now, Halloween is one of my favorite movies of all time. Now, it brought me everything from joy to fear to just original grassroots from a lot of historic filmmaking from John Carpenter and a lot of groundbreaking techniques that actually molded the entire genre. Now, this is why the one reason I am a huge fan of this movie. Halloween has many sequels, which later gets negated with the new 2018, which actually go away. So basically it's Halloween 1978 to Halloween 2018. So that canon is being established now, which another sequel is actually will be releasing October of 2020. So it will be a trilogy, which would be the first one, 1978, 2018, and then 2020. It would be a good trilogy right there. Wasn't he just standing? If you guys like what you saw, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, so you'll be notified next time we put out another video. Until next time, you guys stay horrified.